You know, 15 years ago, the term cool church or a church that was cool really didn't make sense to people. Any church that you would go to, they all seemed very traditional. They were all kind of doing the same thing when it comes to a church experience on Sundays. However, there was a few churches that started to pop up that started to actually put on a cool church experience. Meaning you could show up, you could wear jeans. There was great worship that was contemporary. It was a little more modern. The pastor would come out and he was wearing jeans and he was dressed normal. He looked cool. They looked stylish. And the churches that did that started to blow up all over America. People were coming from all over because they couldn't hardly believe that church could be cool. It was a great way to get people to church on Sundays. However, over the past 15 years, and we fast forward to today, what we see is there's a lot of churches that have the same type of experience as only a few did 15 years ago. So you could go to a lot of churches in America right now and you would get the same experience. Almost any church in America, you can show up and you can wear jeans, you can just wear a t-shirt, you're going to get contemporary worship and up-to-date music. The pastor's going to come out, he's going to look normal, he's not going to be all dressed up a ton, he's going to be stylish, and he's going to do a brief message so he can get you out of here in about an hour, a little over an hour, and then you can go on your way. But over the past 15 years, without intentionally doing it, without even knowing it, what we've actually done is we've started to create a culture of spiritual consumers. Basically meaning this: I can show up on Sunday and I'm showing up just because I want to see a great church experience. I want to be in a great church experience. This is a term we like to use a lot when it comes to describing a church service on Sundays. Well, this term church experience, what it's done is it's actually created consumers that show up, and they may not say this verbally, but in their mind they're thinking, I need you to outdo yourself from last week. Basically, I need a better worship set. I need cooler lights. I need a better message. I need you to challenge me a little bit more than you did last week so that I can get up and I can leave. But this wow me mentality that people show up with, man, I need you to wow me, man. I need you to outdo yourself from last week. What it's done is it's created us where we just want to show up for ourselves, see something really cool, and then leave. And people have started getting in this habit of doing that, where they're just showing up, they're consuming, and then they're leaving, showing up, consuming, and leaving. And they just show up to church because it's something that I'm supposed to do. Like, it's just some place that I go to. It's not something I live out, or it's not something I take with me throughout my week. Church is just that building that I go to on Sundays. You know, church can and should be cool. It should be a place where people feel like they want to go, where they can show up looking just how they want to look. However, cool was never the main purpose or even in the main design for some of the first churches. That was never in there. You don't see that word throughout the Bible when it comes to describing a church gathering. So in comparison, let's look at today's cool church versus the first church, and we look at the book of Acts. And if we look at Acts chapter 2, starting in verse 42, I'm going to read just 5 verses here, verse 42 through 47, and this describes a lot of what the first church experience was like. It says this: "And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in the breaking of bread and in prayers. Then fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done through the apostles. Now all who believed were together, and they had all things in common. And they sold their possessions and goods and divided them among all as anyone had need. So continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking of bread from house to house, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord added to their church daily those who were being saved." One of the key things that I see in here that this just shocks me in thinking of today's church is that they sold all of their possessions and goods and they divided them among people that had need. Church originally was much more of a family gathering, not an experience that they went to and then left from. They showed up and they acted as one body, or in one accord, as the Bible says, one accord, giving and sharing with each other, serving each other. A great term that you might have heard recently in today's church is spiritually contributing to one another. So what we see is, in comparison of Cool Church, what we see a lot around today's church is consuming, spiritual consumers, where I show up, I take something in, and then I leave, versus spiritual contributors of the first church, meaning I'm so sold out to being a disciple that I'm willing to sell everything and give it away to people in need. When they saw a need, they filled it. And that shows me that they were genuine disciples. They did what Jesus would do if he was physically there in their shoes. So we want to capture the same mindset and the same culture in home church. And so what we've done is we've created a core value that simply says this: we are spiritual contributors, not spiritual consumers. We realize that the church does not exist to serve us. We are the church, and we exist to serve others. So we're spiritual contributors, not consumers. The church, I don't show up so the church can serve me and wow me and do something really cool for me. No, we realize that we, the people, we are the church, and we exist to serve people that don't know Jesus and to serve each other, to serve people in need. And we pull all of this from Jesus himself. In Matthew 20, verse 28, it says, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve." He didn't come to consume people serving him. He showed up here on earth in person to serve other people, even as far as going to his death. That's how much Jesus contributed. So what does this look like in today's church? Let's combine the two ideas. So Cool Church is necessary. It's nice to have a place where people can show up and have a great experience. However, we must not lose the heart of the first church. We are spiritual contributors. We are so sold out to being disciples of Jesus that I will sell everything I have if I need to. If he asked me to, I would do it, and I would give it to people in need. If I see a need, I will fill it. How do we have that heart with today's church? One thing that we have to remember is that just consuming on Sundays, if I just show up and then I see the service and I leave, if I'm just consuming on Sundays, that makes me spiritually fat. It does not make me spiritually healthy. However, that's easy to get confused because people show up, they're thinking, man, I'm engaging in worship, I'm hearing a great message, I'm taking notes, but then I'm leaving and I'm going home and I'm not actually serving or interacting with anyone. I'm just here for myself. Well, really, that doesn't make us spiritually healthy. That just makes us spiritually fat. We're just consuming. It's just like your body. If I'm consuming a lot of calories, but I'm not burning them off somewhere, eventually I'm going to start adding on some extra pounds somewhere. I have to be active in my faith, contributing in order to be spiritually healthy. The truth is, if I call myself a disciple of Jesus, I should be serving and living a lifestyle of serving people every day. So why would that stop if I showed up on Sunday to church? Really, church is the easiest place to serve people because most everyone there is on the same page. Everyone likes God. They're in a relationship with Jesus. They're there. They're happy to be there. No one forced them to be there. It's an easy and safe place to serve. Why would I stop serving if I'm living a lifestyle of serving? Why would I stop on Sundays? I shouldn't. You know, most of the time we don't serve on Sundays because we think that Sundays are our chance to grow spiritually. We think, man, I just want to show up. I need to be challenged this week. I want to learn something new. This topic that we've been talking about, man, I need to hear this. And so we use spiritual growth as an excuse not to serve other people in the church, not to be involved, not to be volunteering somewhere. When really the truth is, spiritual contributors, people that show up and are serving somewhere, they get the most out of church. Why? Because they show up with the attitude of Jesus. Meaning they're asking, who can I serve today? I want to serve someone today. If I'm following Jesus, if I'm a disciple of his, I cannot help myself but serve someone today. The thing is, many Christians say they want to be like Jesus, but then they aren't serving anywhere at their church. And really, if we think about that, those two things contradict themselves. I want to be like Jesus, but not enough to where I want to live a lifestyle of serving, so I'm not going to be involved anywhere. Well, then you're really not wanting to be like Jesus. Jesus would be willing to serve anywhere there was a need. He saw a need and he would fill it. And that's the challenge that we have today as modern day disciples. If I see a need that I can fill, I can't help myself. I'm a disciple of Jesus. I have to help those people. Jesus based his whole life on serving. So the thing is, the measure of success then for disciples is not in how we rule. It's not in how we lead necessarily. The measure of success is in how we serve. Then true greatness is measured in terms of service then. That's how I know if I'm growing spiritually, is how am I serving people? How much of my time is contributed to serving others? It doesn't mean I don't spend any time for myself. There is a time and a place for you to go and to receive a good word and to enjoy a church experience. However, we still need to make sure that we're contributing and having the same heart of genuine disciples as they did in the first church. Disciples, they live, they love, and they look like Jesus. Their actions show you their discipleship. This includes Sundays as well. Church can and should be cool, but we will not value coolness over discipleship. We cannot value cool church experience and me getting something from a church experience over discipleship, of me having a heart of serving just like my Savior who served me with his life and gave me a chance to be a part of God's family. That's why at Home Church we say this: we are spiritual contributors. We are not spiritual consumers. The church does not exist to serve us. We are the church, and we exist to serve others.